A common rejoinder to those who defend what the Bible records is that it is untestable and unfalsifiable. To which I reply, okay, and simply asserting that something is not falsifiable only shows that the specified something does not meet the mid to late 20th century definition of physical science. This is referred to as the Popper principle, the idea that science moves forward by developing testable theories and then trying to falsify them by refutation that Karl Popper advanced. Popper himself was not a physical scientist, but he was a philosopher. Just because something isn't scientific in the modern 20th century meaning of the word doesn't mean it cannot be established as true. That's drifting into scientism. Not appreciating sound epistemology gives rise to scientism, the notion that only information that arises from physical experimentation is what can be determined as true. It's a self-defeating system. That notion has not been empirically established. It's an abuse of Popper's principle.
And I think scientists, in fact, should realize that the success of science does not mean it encompasses the entirety of the human intellectual experience. And some people call that science versus scientism, where you take science and turn it into philosophy and say, because there's no evidence of purpose, and I would argue there isn't, there is no purpose. That second statement is philosophy, not science.
The point of view that empiricism is the only source for discovering truth doesn't meet its own standard. It's a point of view that has not been empirically verified. Science itself rests on unempirically tested principles. This type of pushing back the frontiers of knowledge is inherently philosophical and logical in nature, since assumption B is proven from assumption A by a series of logical steps from A to B. Assumptions, by definition, are not empirically established. An indefinite number of trials cannot be performed. Direct observation and experimentation is inherently limited. And we do not want to dismiss things simply because they are not scientific theories. Avoid scientism. So when you say unfalsifiable, I contend you're not using that rejoinder appropriately, and you're actually cutting yourself off from the knowledge that you want to gain. It is the responsibility of the investigator to discern what is true through independent lines of verification. A valid explanation for why or how things behave the way that they behave is a system of assumptions, definitions, inductions, and deductions that have been tested and evaluated, either by experiment or philosophical challenges such as definitions and thought experiments, and adjusted over time as a result of new information or improved evaluation techniques.